What is going on? I started late today. Started late. So late. And I forgot to turn this thing on. Hold on a second. Hold on. There we go. Going here. I always forget something. It wouldn't be a Mr. Funky Dude stream if I didn't forget to do at least one thing before I started. That's how you know it's me streaming and not some AI impersonation. If I start this thing and it goes smoothly, it's probably not me. Saying there's a large chance. You know what I'm saying? Don't be fooled. What's up? I am Mr. Funky Dude. Thank you for joining me today. I am here to talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. Talk about your day. Talk about what's going on in your life. We can talk about what your favorite things are. We try to keep away from politics and religion. Sometimes they come up in peripheral ways, but we try to avoid divisive topics. So that's what goes on around here. I am, of course, your host, Mr. Funky Dude. And let's have some fun today. Fred the Enchanted, how you doing today? Over there in the chat saying hi. Thank you for joining me. Just started. Hopefully we can get some more people in here soon. Why is my beard and my hair purple? That's an excellent question. It's one I get a lot. There's a video on my YouTube channel that explains it, but the long story short is that about, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, I started live streaming on Twitch. I had more of a following then, and I've kind of screwed things up. I'm trying to get things like back into the flow again. But basically what happened is I had live stream on Twitch for a year, and I wanted to celebrate it. And to celebrate it, I decided to dye my hair purple, as was people were doing at that time. Like when you hit a certain mark, you would dye your hair purple, you know. So for Twitch, right? So I dyed the hair purple, and I only meant to keep it for like until it wore out, because I have gray hair. I didn't have to bleach my hair. I had gray hair since I was like 16. And so I never had to bleach my hair to dye my hair. Lucky me, right? So I knew it would wash out in like a week or two. But what started happening was something that I didn't expect to happen. Was that I would go out and go to this grocery store or go to a restaurant or go see a movie, and at least a couple of people, sometimes more, would stop me and they would say, "Hey, I love your hair." And I felt weird because I didn't know how to respond to that. I'm not used to that kind of, attention, so to speak. And I would just usually say, "Oh, thank you." And it was wonderful. But then what I started doing after about, I'd say the 6th or 7th time this had happened, was I started giving them compliment back. So if someone would come up to me and say, "Hey, your hair is why," they come up and say, "Oh, I love your hair." I would look at them really quick and I'd say, "You know what? I love your hair. I love your shoes. I love your shirt. I love that outfit you have on right now. I love the smile in your eyes." Something like that. And it would create this little moment of joy between two people that would be there for a few seconds and then gone. We'd walk our separate ways, never see each other again. And I got addicted to that. I got addicted to that little moment of joy that would occur and then just disappear. And so I kept the hair purple for a long time. And then after a while, it kind of became my thing, like my brand, I guess you could say. Like, well, there was one time where I let it, the dye fade out and was almost gray. And my girlfriend and my daughter were just like, that's weird. So I think they actually prefer it being purple for some weird reason. I guess they're just so used to seeing it with me that, yeah, they just like it. So I keep it purple, and it's just like I said, it's kind of become my brand. You know what I'm known for, somewhat. And it, just like I said, it creates this little moment of joy between me and complete strangers that is just beautiful. So that's the reason it's purple. That makes any sense. Should. Not a complicated story, but that's pretty much it. And I kind of like it being purple too. I'm not even a big purple fan. Like, it's been also blue before. Like a couple of months ago, I had it like this. I had green, and I did blue. Just try out. I just keep coming back to purple because I don't know. I just like it the most. You know, and why not? You know, I'm am 54 years old. You know, if I want to have purple hair, why not have purple hair? Indulge myself, right? It's fun. Yeah, so that's that story. But how are you doing, Fred? I hope you're having a good day. Let us know what part of the world you're joining us from. And tell me something about yourself. What are you into these days? Can you think of something that I'm not going to ask you? Because I hate the question, what do you do for a living? Right? Because I don't think that really tells you anything about someone. So my favorite question to ask someone is, what are you really into right now? What is it that really gets you, your juices flowing, gets your creativity going, makes you happy? What is it that you're really into right now? Romania. Hey, that's cool. I have a subscriber that is from Romania that comes here and been following for a couple of years. Nice guy. It's 1:09 a.m. here. Yeah, I usually don't start this late. I usually start at about an hour earlier. But I started a little late today because of some Indian food that I had to eat last night, if you know what I mean. I don't know how popular Indian food is in Romania, but it's popular enough here in the States that sometimes, it just doesn't go well. You know what I mean? I had to start a little late today. Was that Fred ask his opinion on what? Arabic food is popular here. Oh, that's cool. I like, I live in an area of, I live in California, and I'm very fortunate that I live in an area where just about every type of cuisine that you can think of, literally within a 10-mile radius of me. I'm maybe not even that far, like 5-mile radius. Like, and because of that, I grew up in this area and that has all this great food, and I got exposed to a lot of different cuisines, a lot of different types of foods. So I'm very fortunate in that area, and in that live around so many good places. Shawarma became like the new national food. Shawarma's good. I like a good shawarma. There's about like 5 Middle Eastern places that I like around here. There's a buffet place that I really like. Actually, there's 2 buffet places that I really like within 2 miles of me. Middle Eastern. There is a little shop down the street that sells like these kind of like, I don't really call them sandwiches, but they're kind of like wraps. And, but it's all Middle Eastern food. And yeah, there's a bunch of places around here. It's great. It's a really interesting way to understand a culture is to try their food, Ugh, I went out of focus. Hold on. Come back to me. Come back to me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Camera lost focus for a second. Isn't that interesting that, you can tell a lot about a culture by the food that they eat? Like, For example, my girlfriend is Vietnamese, and I love Vietnamese food. And so something like pho, which is beef broth soup with rice noodles and other things, is one of my favorite dishes. But I didn't know until she and I started dating was that it's typically eaten at breakfast. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Because Vietnam is normally a very humid place. And to eat soup, hot soup, like that for breakfast, I think that tells you something, that tells you how they adapt and how they get around. I think that's probably true of a lot of cultures and of foods. And, like French food always has so much like heavy fat and butter and oils, and it tastes delicious, but I wonder what that says about the French people, that they just want to get the flavor out of life or the fat out of life or something. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not exaggerating, Fred says, when I say there are about 6 shawarma selling stops on a range of 500 meters everywhere. Wow, so it's that popular, huh? Well, good. You guys are enjoying the food, and people are making a living, and hopefully. And that's a good thing, right? Right now, oddly, the trendy food around here is hot chicken. Like for the last 2 years or 3 years, I've been seeing hot chicken sandwich shops popping up. And basically that's, imagine you take like a chicken breast or sometimes a chicken thigh, right? And you bread it, you deep fry it, and then you kind of put it in some different kind of spicy, coating to it, like usually either a rub or some kind of a marinade or some kind of sauce that's put on it. Let's put it in a sandwich, some buns and if you want lettuce and tomato and onion, put that in it if you want it. And that's the sandwich. And there have been like 5 or 6 chains that have popped up in the last 3 years, all competing for business for the hot chicken sandwich market. I don't know why it's so popular right now. I mean, I do like a good hot chicken sandwich, a spicy chicken sandwich, That's I won't shy away from it, but as I get older, it becomes a little more problematic in the end, if you get what I mean. I think you do. You say mostly because 80% of Romanian food is disgusting. There was, God, I'm gonna feel really bad if he wasn't from Romania, he might have been from somewhere else. So there was this. I'm so bad at remembering names and places. The friend that I said that was a longtime follower, I think he was from Romania, somewhere else around that area. He taught us over the internet, or he gave us the instructions on how to make this dish that was really good. It was this kind of like ground up pork sausage inside of these cabbage wraps, basically. So it's almost like these little egg rolls, and then you would put them in the pot and you would cook it with like some kind of big piece of meat or something else. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember it was really good. So, but that's sarmale. Yeah, I think that's what it was called. Yeah. I like that. I thought it was good. Says, yeah, idea of hot chicken is good until you're on the toilet. Right, exactly. Hey, you get it. Fred says, yeah, they're called the sarmale, and they are among the most popular Romanian and Balkanic food. Yeah, we've made it at least 2 or 3 times since then. It's pretty good. I'm not even a big cabbage fan, to be honest with you, and I still liked it. So, yes, that's right. That's right. They are minced meat and rice wrapped around pickled cabbage. Yep, that was it. That was it. I thought they were pretty good. But I mean, I get if the only food that you have is like Romanian food, then yeah, that would get kind of boring after a while. I totally understand that, and after a while, you'd probably go, "Oh my god, I'm so disgusted with this food because I've had it so many times." And so something new comes in, that probably like takes over, right? Probably like goes crazy. That's probably why everybody's into shawarma right now, because the last trendy food for a decade or 20 years or however it was trendy for probably fell out of style, and now this is the new one, right? Yeah, that's how it goes. Food trends are weird. You know, a lot of food trends are actually set by like restaurants and like fast food manufacturers. Sorry, I had to adjust my pillow there. Which is really interesting because you can see, like, especially with fast food, you can tell what kind of trends are happening or the reason for the trend by what all of the fast food places start pushing. Like a few years ago, everything was bacon. Bacon burger, bacon chicken burger, bacon fries, bacon this. Well, come to find out, pork was at an all-time, low for. So all the chain restaurant places started making everything pork. I think the same thing is going on with chicken right now because it seems like everybody's doing chicken right now. Fred says we have these things I don't know how to translate, but they are pig leftovers like bowels and fat and some tasteless jelly made out of water and put in the fridge and served cold. Okay, you lost me on that one, man. Now, that does sound disgusting. I will not argue with that one. That does. No, yeah. No, that does sound disgusting. But, you got to ask yourself why that dish exists. Was that all they had at that time when that food was created and that's how they had to survive? That's what I always wonder about, like the worst tasting foods. Like even here in the United States, like I can think of some foods that I just like always thought was disgusting. Like I've never been a big fan of kidney. But there's literally like kidney pie and just like oh, right. And my grandmother used to eat cow brains, like scramble them with her eggs. Ugh. No. But you have to ask yourself, why would my grandmother be eating cow brains? Like, why was she taught to eat cow brains? Well, it's because when she lived on a farm, and especially she lived during what was called the Great Depression here in the United States, which was a time of like the worst economic downfall. And people were dying of starvation and poor and what have you. Well, she lived on a farm and you ate everything off that cow. If you had a cow, nothing went to waste, down to scraping out the marrow and the bones. Down to eating the brain. Like I learned to eat the tongue. In Spanish they call it lingua, right? Fred says, well, to understand Romanian food, you need to understand the Romanian people. Yeah, I think that's true of all foods, from all cultures. So I'm totally with you. Fred says, so in the 1400s, the 1800s, what is Romania now were three states, Wallachia, Moldova, and Transylvania, and being crushed between the Ottoman Empire and Austrian-Hungary. They were in constant war and poor. Yeah. It's usually how it goes. It's, So the majority of the population, Fred continues, the population were peasants whose life became so bitter that food taste was their last concern. So they just ate what they could. Yeah. So I understand. They probably tried to make it as palatable as they could, but you know, considering what they had, that was probably really hard to do. And yeah, you know, it's when you don't have a lot of choice, you know, sometimes you can come up with like beautiful, simplistic dishes, right? But other times when you don't have a choice, you can only do with what you got. You know, you may not have, your choices may be a lot limited. Like like in Mexico, you know, the peasant food is probably their most popular food now. You know, the food of just cornmeal and beans and rice and cilantro and onions and, you know, what have you. Simple ingredients like the joke is 5 ingredients, 50 dishes, right? But they use it to their best advantage that they could. You know, they made this entire cuisine based on basically 5 or 6 different ingredients. But then you go to some other places and maybe those ingredients that they have to choose from aren't as palatable, aren't as good. It depends on where you are, what the land is, what the climate is, those kind of things. And you got to make the best of what you can. So, you know, then it doesn't always end up being that great, but it's survivor food. What's up, Wolf? How you doing, bud? Glad to see you here. Hey, Wolf. Got the Creature Feature TV shirt on. CreatureFeatureTV.com. Make sure you check it out. Fred says the food really improved after they united into Romania and life quality became better. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. No doubt that would happen. You know, once people start arguing with each other and start realizing, oh, you think the food sucks too? Wow. Well, let's change that. Fred says, yeah, but still look at Italians. Food like spaghetti came out of poverty, but at least they didn't make pig fat in cold water. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's just say, you know, it's a good thing that cuisines tend to evolve. You know, just just be happy that that happens. Because yeah, pig fat in what? No, that would not be good. That would not be anything close to being good. That would be gross. But how you doing, Wolf? What'd you have for lunch today? We're talking about food right now, I guess. Talking about how Fred here thinks that Romanian food sucks. I said I've had good Romanian food. Then he gives me an example of this really disgusting cold fat like dish. So I couldn't argue with him after that. Spaghetti rings and meatballs. Oh, did you have a can of Chef Boyardee today? Did your lunch come out of a can? Tam and I learned to make homemade SpaghettiOs like a year ago. They were actually really good. In fact, I should have her make that again. It was really good. Like we found this recipe for like homemade kicked up SpaghettiOs, even down like the little noodles, the rings, with the sauce and with the meat. Oh, it's just delicious. It was so good. And like the rings absorb the sauce really well. Oh, now I want that. Fred says they're called rasituri. I don't know how to say that in Romanian. But you don't believe me, if you don't believe such abomination can exist. No, I believe it. I mean, like, even like I was praising Mexico for their dishes, even they have menudo. I mean, menudo is kind of gross. It's like the Mexican haggis, you know, it's intestines and sheep guts and all this other stuff I never liked. Wolf says it's cheap and quick for lunch. I'm thinking biscuits and gravy for dinner. That sounds really good. I got a really good biscuit recipe if you ever want it. It's like butter biscuits. They work really good with biscuits and gravy because they're kind of like a little thick, but not too thick. You know what I mean? I wonder if I have it on my website. Do I have the biscuit recipe on my website? I don't even know. I might. Oh, stretch. Sorry. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Wolf says, I remember my papa would eat brains and pig's feet. And I was saying I remember my grandmother would eat scrambled brains with eggs for breakfast sometimes. And it was because she had to, you know, because she got used to it because back on the farm in Oklahoma, you had to eat everything there was on that animal if you could. Put it all to use. Fred says the Penn jet engine and Dacia car. Is somebody saying that? Dacia car brand were the only good things that came out of Romania. There you go. Well, that's something. Maybe you'll be the next person to have the next big thing to come out of Romania. You never know. But yeah. You know, and if you want to see good things come out of Romania, you know, start fostering and encouraging people to make good things, you know, innovate, that kind of thing. Encourage that within your friends and the people around you. Wolf says I was a weird kid. Go figure. But even I had limits then. No, you wouldn't eat the brain. I've had brain. It's kind of like just, wah. It's not great, but it's not like I've had worse. No. Fred says I want to revive this SUV brand called Aro. Maybe you will one day. I need tons of money, so I probably will never be able to. Yeah, I mean, chances are you probably won't, but maybe you could encourage the people that have the money to do it. Who knows? You know, it's one of the things about our focus. That's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my life. And this has been bastardized into different ways and things like that, but it's really true. You know, like okay, simply put, what you focus on, right, becomes your reality. Simple as that. Is the thing that you focus on becomes your reality. And there's a quote that goes along with that, which is, I can't remember who said it, but the quote goes, if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, either way, you're right. You know, and it's true. It's if we believe that we can't do something, we're less likely to do something. But if we believe that we can do something, even when we fail, we're more likely to try again, you know, to keep trying. Right? So what we tell ourselves is true is usually what ends up being true. You know, so just remember that when you have something like, I would like to see this. Well, you know, I'd like to see this happening. Well, maybe you could make it happen. Maybe not be in the way that you expect, but if you keep your mind open to the possibility, you also keep your mind open to opportunity. Because if you don't keep your mind open to possibility, you'll never see you know what could happen. You could never see the potential. Like I had a discussion with a friend of mine the other day. You know, not really a political discussion, but yeah, I guess so. He was talking about like the food chain and all this other stuff and how it's going to collapse. And this friend of mine, I love him to death, but he focuses a lot on the negative in life. And even his like social media is a lot of just like complaining about things and what have you. And he always reminds me of the Machiavellian saying, he who looks for spies finds spies all around. Because again, it's what you focus on becomes your reality. Because he focuses so much on, you know, the bad side of things, he doesn't see the possibilities for good things. And I don't want to be like that. Me in my life, that's not how I choose to be. I choose to. I will see. It's not like I'm blind to what's bad and I'm blind to, what could happen. But if there's like if I know 90% chance that something bad is going to happen, I will cling to the 10% that something good could happen. Right? That's important to me. I have to cling to the hope, because if I don't, like, why am I even alive? Why am I even walking the earth? Why am, if I don't have hope, if I'm feeling hopeless, I don't think I could exist like that in any real way. So, I don't care if it's 5% hope, 1% hope. I'm going to cling on to that hope. Fred says, average Romanian mentality: instead of improving the country's bad condition, they immigrate and do nothing but complain instead of helping. Yeah, well, that could become from generations. That could be generational trauma. If like you said, Romania has a history of, being torn between different countries and discovering a national identity and what have you. I mean, that could be the result of multi-generational trauma that's, passed down. A certain kind of attitude about the place. That might take decades to, if not longer, to overcome. I get it. Rebellions are built on hope. It's true. Absolutely true. Man, hope is a very strong and powerful motivational tool. If you sometimes you cling to it out of hope, and sometimes you cling to it out of desperation. But I would much rather cling to hope. Like my friend, I'm sure, would tell me that I'm unrealistic and that I'm denying reality, and I don't deny reality. I accepted that there's a possibility that many of the things that he said could come true. His worries may be, genuine. But I also cling to hope that human beings are better than that. That, for the most part, we have been able to overcome a lot of difficulties, a lot of things, and that should have stopped us. From diseases to how we live our lives. I mean, the world used to be so much more violent than it is today. I mean, a lot more violent than it is today, even with all the wars that are going on. Like, people used to die a lot earlier than they did. The idea of someone living till they were in their 70s or 80s was unheard of more than 200 years ago. So then I think it's hope that builds those innovations. It's hope that keeps us saying, okay, we can do better, we can do more. Fred says, yeah, old people tell them, child, get out of the country because it has nothing to offer you, simply because the communist system banned them from even stepping 2 meters outside the border. Yeah. That makes sense. Like I said, it's generational trauma, It's because they didn't want to be there. Fred says, honestly, this generation is doomed. And this is coming from someone who is part of that generation. Though, I don't think so. I don't really believe that. And then I'm not just speaking about. I always kind of scoff against that kind of thinking, because whether or not you're part of it and you buy into it or not, the idea that a generation is going to fail. When has that happened? Ever? Right? I find that what usually happens is that we start to buy into stereotypes. And we buy, and then we start to see those stereotypes in our lives, right? Because that's what our focus on. Remember what I said before is what we focus on as being true becomes our reality. So when we start to see ourselves as being doomed, we start to pick out the worst things about our generation, the worst things about ourselves. Right? Like there's something I used to tell people a lot, which is that one of the things you have to realize is that our brains, right? The way our minds think is that they're justifying machines. They're always trying to justify a perspective. The way I like to demonstrate that is, you can go out and buy a red pair of shoes. Maybe you've gone out and bought a new pair of shoes, or maybe you got a new car, or you got something new that, you have. And after you've bought it, you start seeing more red shoes. You go and buy yourselves a red car, and then all of a sudden you start seeing more red cars. Now, it's not that all of a sudden people bought red cars because you did, or you bought a red car because everybody else did. It's your brain justifying, your decision and showing you other red cars. And the thing about that is that also works with, what we focus on. So if we're getting, like, let's say all of our news from negative sources, and we start to see, oh, that's negative and that's negative. We get on social media and that's negative and that's negative and that's negative, right? And then you start to notice all the negative things on the outside. And then, because your brain wants to justify the negative perspective, you start seeing the negativity on the inside. Because our brains are justifying machines. Right? And they want to justify whatever our perspective is, whatever we're focusing on. Whatever it is, if we're afraid of something, it'll focus on that fear and justify that fear. That's the way the brain works. So when people say things like, oh, this generation is crumbling, or this generation is doomed, I have to stop and wonder how much of that is, that reinforcement, that justification, that believing something or falling into a stereotype. Because here's how I see it. It's never happened. Generations have never been doomed, right? That's never happened in human existence. And the reason is because a lot of times, the generations are just figuring shit out or doing things differently than the previous generations. Or maybe they're dealing from some kind of past trauma or something like that. But human history has shown that they keep pushing along. They keep moving forward. They survive, and no generation has ever been doomed. So instead of focusing on the bad side of your generation and accepting the stereotype about it, maybe just stop and ask yourself, what are some good things about my generation? What are things that we figured out that the previous generation didn't? What are things that we were able to move forward on that the previous generation couldn't? I bet if you sit down and you ask yourself that, you'll seriously come up with some good answers. It's not to say that people don't need help, things like that. But I think for the most part, generations are okay. They'll figure it out. One way or another, they'll figure that out. You gotta hope for the best, like we talked about before, right? No, I get it. You're not saying that because stereotypes, but because of my own experience. That may be true as well. I'm not dismissing it. See, even if it's just a stereotype, even if it is your own experience. A great example that I heard the other day of, judging the whole by one's experience is if you walk into a room and there are 500 people standing around in this room, this hall, wherever you're at. There's 500 people in there. And you go to the corner and you talk to 4 people in that corner and you never talk to anybody else. Will those 4 people be a good sample of the whole? Right? And and I'm not just talking about the 4, being lit. You can say 10 people compared to the 500. Right? Is that 10 going to be a good sample of the whole? Is that 10 going to be a good diverse example of the whole? That's why it's important that we try to remove our own biases when we look at something. Because if we go by our own experiences, well, we can get trapped in certain kind of ways of thinking where we deny object reality, in exchange for our perception. And we lose critical judgment, And yeah, maybe your generation in Romania may be having issues right now. Every country, every society, there comes a time where they have a generation that has some kind of trauma, where they have some kind of issues that they're dealing with. And sometimes it's a hard, lesson to learn. But so far, people learn, generations will learn the lesson. And if not, the next generation will learn it and they'll fix it. Or the next one will. Because that's human existence. It's the truth is that we're going to stumble, we're going to fall, but we always pick ourselves up and move forward. There's really not been a time where we haven't. Unless we were stopped by some kind of great force like the Dark Ages or something like that. But even then, pushed forward. Sometimes it just takes longer. I don't know. I'm just more of a hopeful person, Like I would rather see the best in someone than focus on the worst in them. Because everybody has a bad side. Everybody does. Everybody can be a fucktard. At one time in their life. Maybe multiple times in their life. Like if you knew me, this is one of the things that trips my girlfriend Tam out when we talk about it. If you knew me, like I'm 54, if you knew me when I was in my, let's say 20s or 30s, different person, more of an asshole, got into fights a lot, kind of was very cocky. I drank a lot. Probably, mess around with people's feelings more than I should have. I was not the greatest person. I was less empathetic. And then I had a kid. I had a kid at, what was I, 34, 35, something like that. Horrible with dates. And started smoking cannabis. And I mellowed the fuck out. And I realized that I didn't want to pass on a lot of those bad traits to my daughter. So I started working on myself. And I started working on being a better parent, being a better dad, and just being more understanding of the people around me. I started looking at the lessons that I had learned in my life and had ignored. And realized that who I wasn't who I wanted to be, that it was a product of the conditioning of my youth and my family and whatever trauma I experienced, and realizing that helped me move forward, helped me grow and become a better person because I believed in hope. I believed that I could if I wanted to. And that's why I talk to people on here about kindness and about believing in themselves and, accepting themselves as better people and finding value in who they are and their uniqueness, because that's the world I want to live in. I want to live in a world where people understand that importance. So I preach it for the most part. because I saw what it was like for my life when I didn't have it. I didn't believe in people, and I didn't believe in kindness, and I didn't believe in hope. I knew what that was. So here I am. That makes any sense. All right, guys, I'm gonna take a quick 2-minute break. I gotta get myself some more water, take a little bio break, and I'll be right back. Hang in there with me. Thanks. Wrong button. All right, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. I needed more water. Hey, Johnny, what's up, man? See you there in the chat. How are you doing, buddy? Hope you're having a good day. If not, you know all the drill. Hope there's opportunity for you to have a better day. How's the kid? Wasn't your kid sick the other day? How's he doing? Hopefully good. Oh, thirsty. At least it's not as hot today as it was yesterday. It's only like 82 yet today. It was like 95 yesterday, 96, something like that. So hopefully it'll start cooling. I can finally turn off the air conditioner. Kidding. Oh, he's still sick. Now the rest of the family is sick. Oh, no. You know, yeah, that sucks. With Rachel, whenever she got sick, I always just secluded her and took care of her on my own. That way, if I got sick from her, I stayed away from, my wife and anybody else that would come over or that was living with us at the time. Not saying you should do that, but I'm saying that's the extremes that I went to sometimes. He'll better soon. Hope so. What is up, Johnny? Johnny says, "What's up, my dude?" Oh, just chilling, talking with Fred here and Wolfman and talking about hope and generational trauma and all that fun stuff. You know, the exciting, good stuff that we all love to hear about all the time, you know. That stuff. You know. I think my camera's starting to go out. It's like losing the color. See, like if I move, it like goes from purple to blue sometimes. My beard. I've been using this camera for like 6 years, so it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Johnny, doing good, hanging in there. Had to start a little late today. Started at 3 instead of 2. I don't know. Maybe I'll change the time to 3 o'clock instead of 2. 2 is too early. Maybe 3 would be better. I wanted to stream yesterday in the evening, but I really couldn't because Tam had to work late at home. So wasn't really an opportunity for me to live stream last night. Johnny says I try to get away from my wife, but she keeps following me around. What is the joke I heard? The other day I raked the lawn for this woman at her home and she didn't pay me. When I asked her why she wouldn't pay me, she said, because we're married. Lock her in the bathroom. Yeah, there you go. Johnny says, I just put out some raisin cinnamon sourdough from the oven. Hey, Johnny, I think it might be on my website, a great, if not, I'll send it to you, a great cinnamon roll recipe. It is the softest, most delicious cinnamon rolls, and you can make it sourdough if you want to, but they're delicious. Delicious. I haven't made it in like a year, but whenever I make them, like everybody wants one. They're delicious. Wolf says, throw an Amazon gift card on the ground. That will distract her. That distracts me. Alone her. Johnny says, my mom wanted me to make some bread for my grandpa because he likes raisin bread. Oh, that's nice. I did fresh ground cinnamon sticks. What a difference in flavor. Oh, yeah. Like freshly ground cinnamon sticks is the bomb. The bomb compared to like ground cinnamon. No, it's like it. Well, first of all, when you and here's the reason. I'll tell you what it is. Okay. I learned this from someone. So when you grind cinnamon or most herbs, the first thing you're going to lose is moisture, right? Because as you're grinding it, whatever moisture was in there is being released into, the air, right? So you're going to lose a lot of that moisture. Well, moisture a lot of times carries fatty solubles with it from especially if it's an organic thing. So what happens is when you have a cinnamon stick as compared to ground cinnamon, that cinnamon stick, even as dry as it feels, still has a certain amount of moisture, and that moisture is condensed, right? Because it's like whenever you remove the moisture out of something, you're actually like condensing the flavoring. And so that when you put that cinnamon stick in compared to like using ground up cinnamon, you're going to have more flavor. It's because it's going to have more of that condensed flavoring, and it's going to be way better. Oh, sexy! Please, I'll take a look. Yeah, let me see. Is it on my website? I should know that, right? But I don't even know my own shit. What is up with that? I could tell you 2 seconds. Hold on. La, 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 la. Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay. Found it. Yeah, just go to my website. It's in the food section. MrFunkyDude.com. It's towards the bottom. Cinnamon rolls. Is the recipe in there? Oh, that's right. It's a Joshua Weissman cinnamon rolls. Yeah, from YouTube. They're really good. Yeah, the recipe's there. Hold on a second. Here we go. There's a link to the recipe. It's involved. It's a process. Was probably one of the most complicated pastries I've made. It's definitely a process. Like you have to follow the steps. But there's I made a video of how I made it, or you could watch Joshua Weissman's video of how he made it. It's really good. He says that video popped up for me the other day. Your video from 3 years ago. Awesome. That's good. Oh, no problem, Johnny. Happy to help you. Johnny says, thank you, kind sir. Happy to help. A fellow baker. Maybe I'll make bread tomorrow now that it's not 90 degrees outside. Maybe I'll finally make bread tomorrow. I'll make a couple of loaves. So Rachel is gone. Rachel is my 24-year-old daughter. If you don't know who she is gone for the next 6 days. She flew up to Washington to be with her boyfriend for 6 days. She'll be back next Tuesday, I guess, or whatever. And yeah, it's her first like official trip for herself somewhere, where she bought the airline tickets. Tam helped her with it, but she is flying off on her own. This is her first adult, kind of trip that she earned the money for. She's not going. The only other time she's flown somewhere is because she had to help her grandmother move, and then she needed to come back home. So she, flew back home. That's it. So this is like her first going out. Fred says, I think I'll go now because I have to wake up early tomorrow. Bye, y'all. Thanks, Fred, for coming by. Have a great day. Or have a good night's sleep, anyway. We have a good day tomorrow. But yeah, she's up in Washington right now with her boyfriend. So she's excited, for that. And Tam and I now have the house to ourselves. Excuse me. For the next 6 days. And we were teasing Rachel. We were grossing her out. She would say, so what are you guys going to do when I'm not home? And Tam and I would just go, oh, just sex. Lots of sex everywhere. Sex in every room. We're going to be naked, have lots of sex. And she, of course, because she's my daughter, she'd be, oh, stop. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. So, of course, had to make it worse for her. I think laundry day will be lighter. Yeah, maybe a little. She doesn't actually wear a lot. She just basically wears like work clothes, and then she has this like dress, this frock that she wears around the house. She doesn't go out a lot, so she doesn't do a lot of laundry each week. There's like a small load of laundry I do for each week. I don't know what Tam and I aren't going to, like Tam and I were talking about it last night. I'm like, what's going to happen that's different? I said, you're going to do the same thing you do every weekend. Maybe I'll come with you. That might be different, but I could do that any other time. And she goes, well, you could be louder during. Like, okay, one thing. One thing. That's good looking bread, Johnny. It's a nice looking loaf. Johnny just sent me a picture of the loaf on the webs. The webs. Very nice looking loaf, Johnny. Now I definitely want to make bread tomorrow. I should make bread tomorrow. Oh, that's what you meant, Wolf. What says I meant because y'all would be naked all week. Yeah. Yeah, no, nothing's going to change. Johnny says I put it in food if Wolf wants to see it too. Looks delicious. Yeah, I definitely want to make bread this week. I'll probably just make a couple of easy just loaves of sandwich bread, you know. Something easy to make. We haven't had any sandwich bread. We got all this, like, actually, we have lunch meat and other stuff. So, yeah, I should make sandwich bread tomorrow. I just been waiting for it to cool. You know, Johnny says, why not make the bread? Yeah, just waiting for it to cool. It should be a nice day tomorrow. See, what's the weather tomorrow? Okay, Google, what's tomorrow's weather? My voice, Jesus. Oh, yeah, 82. I'm making bread. I'm making bread if it's only 82. Definitely making bread. Unless Tam wants to go do something. I usually make bread in the early morning, and she's usually running errands at that time, so I don't think it's going to, you know, clash or anything. Ugh, hold on a second. I gotta. Something in my eye, like dust just flew in my eye on the side. Yemeni. That'll be fun. That'll be a hoot. A hoot and a holler. Oh, man. I was having issues with Indian food I ate last night, this morning, so oof. I think I'm okay. My stomach seems to have settled. Some kind of like spinach yogurt thing. It's delicious, but like half the time I eat it, it just like blows its way through me. So it's like a chance. There's a risk every time I eat it. But it's delicious. It's good. It is yummy for my tummy. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. I don't know if I'll stream this weekend. Like, everything's up in the air. What do you guys got for this weekend? Anything fun? Anything special? Going to create some amazing moments with your family? Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Oh, rude. I think, let's see, we're all caught up on Star Wars. Star Wars. So that's so weird. Star Wars. Ahsoka. Ahsoka. Ass like an oka. I am a little, I'll admit it. Johnny says, I'm just going to keep plowing through some Baldur's Gate. Tough decisions on that game. Oh my God. Speaking of games. Oh, I'm so pissed off at fucking PlayStation right now. So pissed off at Sony right now. I fucking don't get them sometimes. They make these decisions that just like make no sense to me. They just, so, you know, PlayStation has a certain kind of tier for their memberships, right? And it has to do with like, if you know, being able to go online and play games online. And then it has to do with getting these, you know, other games that you get to play for free, or that you get to play, you know, you don't have to download, you can play it online, that kind of thing. And, you know, the general game membership that you usually see, you know, they had 3 different tiers. And I was like the highest tier, and it was costing me about like $120 a year. But, you know, I always found discounts. So I think it was only like 75 or something like that bucks for the year, something like that. But now they're raising it to $160 fucking dollars. A 35% raise in cost. And they do it in a month where they are offering for the highest tier, you know, you get like 3 free games. shittiest games that they could offer. I mean, like, none of the games that they offer this month have a score over 60 in Metacritic. You know, so it's like, what the fuck are you thinking by raising the prices 35% on each tier from the very bottom to the top? 35% raise. And then, you know, you release 3 shitty games that month for your membership. Like, I can't, like, the amount of like people making like YouTube videos and TikToks about this, like, that are just pissed, just makes me wonder who at Sony thought that was a good idea. I would really love to hear their explanation for it. You know, is it to pay off the studios that they bought? I don't know. Is it because they didn't sell as many PlayStations as they had hoped to when it first came out, because all the fucking you know, people were buying it, the scalpers were buying it and then not being able to sell it? You know, it's just complete bullshit. Yeah, PlayStation Pleb, PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Tryhard Plus. Yeah, pretty much. Giant says, I know what you mean, bullshit. Giant says, I should just log in, add crap to the library, and turn it off. Yeah. But that's bullshit. You know, I don't know. Well, I know I'm not going to pay 160, obviously. Oh, but here's the thing. Here's the good thing, Johnny. You can stack subscriptions. So you have until the 6th to go and find a discounted yearly subscription card and apply it. Like, I know people that are doing it for like the next 5 years. Like, they've bought 5 years worth of subscription, you know, so they don't have to pay the 160. So yeah, might do that myself. Is you know, buy my subscription earlier so I could stack it and not have to pay the 160. Wolf says Xbox is better. Neener, neener, neener. Yeah, in this case, it might be. I'll give it to him. I'm pissed at Sony right now. Johnny says it's the formula of owning a publicly traded company that needs to grow every year. The consumer always loses. Yeah, well, it's also when that publicly traded company is, you know, not looking out for the best interests of the consumer. That's what sucks. Johnny says I have a couple of yearly cards in my drawer. Well, you should use them now. If you have them, you should use them, because you can stack the membership. Like, if you buy a membership at whatever it is, $120 right now for the premium, you can stack that. If you have a discount, what even better, you can stack them. So you could be up for the next several years if you have enough. Johnny says thanks for the heads up. Yeah, of course. But that pissed me off. It's so dumb. So dumb. You know, well, I'm sure it's smart to them because, like you said, publicly traded company, they want to make money. Well, how about, you know, if you're going to do that, then release better games to your subscribers. Look, there's a lot of great games on the service, but this month's games were just the worst. Oh, you hear the Dax clack? Yeah, he just walked by. We trim his nails, but no matter how much we trim them, you're on a wood floor, it's going to clack clack. Little tippity taps. So yeah, that's what Sony has done. It's ridiculous. So hopefully I'm going to try to scrounge up a card for another membership so I can, you know, stack it. Hopefully sometime before the 6th of September. Wolfman says 17 a month and I get games for Xbox and PC. Yeah, okay, whatever. Brag all you want. Yeah, well, no, I did. I thought the value that what I was paying, I was getting good value because I put a lot of value into video games. You get a lot of hours like of entertainment with video games. I've said this before that if a movie is 2 hours long and you're willing to pay $20, and your video game is 30 hours long of enjoyment and it's $60, that's a value. That's a great value, right? That's how I always saw it. Even now the games are going up to 70, still a good value. If you're playing that game for 30 to 60 hours, that's 30 to 60 hours of entertainment. That's like $1 an hour, or 50 cents an hour or whatever. I mean, it's a good value. And I've always said video games are good value. But Sony just hasn't been like, their games lately just haven't had a lot of value. Like they're like a lot of times their 3 games that they released for the month have been like games that are low on Metacritic or independent games that they didn't have to pay a lot for. That aren't necessarily bad, but not at the value that you're expecting to have for what you've paid. Johnny says, whatever, Wolf. Why don't you just marry Bill Gates? Wolf says, I'm going to be upgrading soon to Xbox Series X or whatever the fuck they call it. I have to upgrade PC as well. That'll be fun. Johnny's funny. Why don't you marry Bill Gates if you love him so much? Yeah. Oh, you guys are funny. So yeah, I'm kind of peeved at that. Got this cool shirt though this week from CreatureFeatureTV.com. Awesome shirt. Although material's a little thinner. And my other shirt, tell Sanguinary the cheap motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. Very cool shirt. So I wanted to make sure I wore it on today's stream. CreatureFeatureTV.com. Make sure you check it out. Still haven't picked up my mail. I'm going to go pick up my mail tomorrow from the post office. I have a bunch of packages. My mailbox got full and they held it for me. They're holding it right now, so I got to jet down in the morning to the post office and pick it all up. Although Tam said she'll go do it, but she's going to be busy working. She works from home tomorrow, so I'll probably just go. And if there's a line, I'll stand there with my cane and make everybody feel bad. I'll stand there and just wiggle a lot with my cane. I'm just waiting. Sir, do you want a seat? Here, let me help you now. Oh, thank you so much. Tam's too busy for us. Tam's busy lately. Well, she finally got someone at work that she's not the only. See, for a long time, she's been the only one doing what she does at work. She's been the only buyer for this company. And they finally just hired another buyer, and she's been training him. And he's a seasoned buyer. He's worked at other places before, but he needs to get used to the culture of the company and how they do things and what have you. So she's been, helping him along. So once he gets more acclimated and doesn't need guidance as much as he does right now, she'll be able to relax more. She'll have more time for herself. She'll, not have to work after work so much as she had to, because she was literally the only one doing the job. So she's happy now. She feels like she can take a vacation if she wants to. She hasn't had a vacation in 2 years. So we're hoping that we'll be able to do that in the winter, go somewhere nice, see some green, in the autumn or something, see the leaves fall somewhere. Johnny says, have you seen the baby prank on public transports? No, Johnny. The baby prank on public transports? Oh, is it mean? I hate mean pranks that involve kids, little kids, babies and stuff. Always makes me kind of cringe. Pokemon has more importance. No. Sometimes she puts off Pokemon for work, believe it or not. Goes work. Look, the tier of admiration, the things that she loves goes, let's see, there's work, Pokemon, the cats, the dog, and I think I'm somewhere right underneath the dog, me. That's where I land. And I'm okay with that. It's worth it. She's good. I'm happy to be fifth on her list. TikTok is on my jock about one of my other channels that I haven't been using lately. Like, come on, you got one new like. Don't you want to come see the one new like you got? I haven't played any games online for a while. For my other channel. I will admit that I have not done that for a while. I haven't even really, enjoying doing this more. Oh, is that it? The TikTok? Okay, hold on, Johnny. I don't know if I can grab the link now. Hold on. I figure out how to get that link. It's not letting me grab it from my console here. Hold on a second. Hey, can you send it to the Discord instead, Johnny? To post it in here. It's not letting me grab the link. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to make a complaint about that. If you can send it to the Discord, that would be cool. I will put it up to look at it. Let's see. There you are. All right, I see it. Hold on a second. Let me up and pause it. Hold on a second. Let's make it full screen. Oh, wait. Can't do that. Okay. Bring it up on the shared screen here. Have some fun with this. Wait, what? That's not right. What am I doing wrong? Yes, me share. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. It's not working. Why isn't it working? I try again. Hold on. Let me just do this. There we go. That's working. I wonder why the other one wasn't. That's weird. Why is my... There we go. Okay. Here we have it. Oh, wow, that was like, give me trouble. Let's check this out. Fake baby train prank. That is so... pretty good. Just holds it like that. Waits for someone to move. And then just like sits down. Oh, I hate that. I hate that fucking laughing that's with it. It's annoying, but that's hilarious. Everybody sees it. Everybody's laughing. And he's just got the straightest face. Just looks at him straight up like, yeah, so what? Let's see what happens. She's all, let me hold him. No, let me sit. And then he's going to do it right in front of her. Watch her. She's going to get mad at him. She gets it. Oh, man. Like, oh, here, let me help you. One of them's got to get mad. Just that dead face. Just... Oh, that's great. Just that dead face. Like, yeah, what? That's great, Johnny. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, that was funny. That was hilarity. Kind of a dick move, but funny. Yeah. Seems most of the people got the joke, though. That's hilarious. All right, guys. Well, it is time for me to end the stream. Nature is calling, and I don't know how long it's going to take, so this is a good time to end the stream. Thank Indian food. Anyway, guys, I'll be back for sure on Monday. Maybe I'll do something this weekend. I don't know. Depends on what's going on with Tam, but don't count on it. But I will be back on Monday. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for sharing stuff. We will all have a wonderful day. You too, Johnny. And I'll talk to everybody later. Thanks, guys. Bye.